Mandarji, the work that you do, because you use the learning and the training that you have, especially in the traditional Indian or Indic practices of yoga and meditation, in resolving crisis like situations among various communities around the world. So it's a kind of like you're playing the role of an ambassador or a messenger, if you will, right, of the Indic value systems. And this is very pertinent, especially since India or Bharat is now being seen, or at least being promoted by Modi ji as a Vishwa Guru, because for many years yoga was had been sort of what do you call it, the word is taken away by or appropriated by the West, without mention of the words Hindu or Hinduism, or acknowledging the Hindu roots of the practice itself. So it's very important that what Modi ji is doing is trying to assert that, well, yoga does come in his own way, in a very diplomatic way, that it comes from India, and all the associated practices have their roots in Hindu faith. So, keeping that in mind, I would like you to talk about the kind of work that you did for Shell, and what were the reactions you saw, and what was that experience like?
So, Pujita, just to set some context, I'm a chemical engineer by training, and I joined Shell in 1999, so a long time ago, in Houston, Texas. And workplace stress took a toll on me. So, a friend of mine recommended me to do the Art of Living meditation workshop in Houston, and my teachers were two white Americans, and they were teaching me, be in the present moment, yoga, meditation, pranayama, which I knew nothing about. And so it was kind of embarrassing for me that day. And so I committed myself that I need to study what my culture and civilization represents. And in 2 years, I became a teacher of the Art of Living Foundation, teaching Sudarshan Kriya meditation in Houston. And that year, there was a reserves crisis at Shell. So the leadership at Shell had wrongly reported the reserves on Wall Street, and they were fired from the board and the CEO position. So it was a very embarrassing time to say to people that you work for Royal Dutch Shell. So that is where the spark of application of the Indic wisdom of inner peace started brewing in my mind and heart. Because ethics or compliance cannot just be an online training, which most companies resort to. There's some technology, online software. You click, 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 and you get a certificate. So in 2004, we started an employee network within the organization to promote mindful leadership and the inner aspect of leadership, which often is not talked about. So when I was doing this work, this was 20 years ago now, long time before this mindfulness craze has come into America. And what I also realized, because I also became part of Shell's flagship program on innovation and investments, and I realized that innovation is not just a very technical process. Yes, you do need to have some technical knowledge, but it takes a village to bring your idea to the marketplace. So it is a very emotional and socio-emotional game, I would say, not just a technical game. Because sometimes you might have the best idea, but people don't support it because they don't like Pujita,
Right.
not because of the idea.
Correct.
So this training, socio-emotional learning, how to build relationships, how to story tell about your idea, is the opportunity I saw, and that is what I told my then boss, now friend, philosopher, guide, that we are investing Shell dollars in entrepreneurs, but if you want to create a culture of innovation, the mindset of innovation, it needs to start from within. And the adage that silence is the mother of creativity. Everybody knows it, right? And then we also say it's my gut feeling that this is a good idea. how do you invoke that gut feeling, right? And that is where I found the application of pranayama practices, meditation practices, to give the colleagues at the workplace a toolkit to improve the silence zone. Like, how do you get into that quiet time? And so the chocolate was in Indic practices, yoga meditation practices. Wrapper on the chocolate was innovation and creativity. And so within 2 years, I was able to teach 2,000 people worldwide at Shell as part of my job. And that's an honor of my lifetime, like, to bring meditation and the benefit of meditation in a technical company like Shell, because Shell is not in the Bay Area. It is not in the Googles of the world, right? It's a very roughneck engineering company. So 2012 is when I realized that if you do it correctly, if your intention is good, then people need it. Yeah. So I still remember I was teaching one workshop in a Shell refinery in New Orleans, and these refinery operators, they were doing the workshop because a slight mistake in such a workplace, stressed workplace like a refinery or an oil and gas platform, can cause multi-million dollar impact on the business line, bottom line. So if you want to improve the safety at the workplace, there is a term that is used. It's called behavioral safety. Like, how do you transform your behaviors? And that is where again the application of the wisdom of meditation is that it will help you transform your negative emotions into more acceptance, so that you can be in the present moment when you are taking some decision. So that is where I felt like, this wisdom came from, traditions and generations ago. But as custodians, we have to hold the sanctity of the traditions and use uh, the corporate training that we have to package it such that it is useful to solving problems at that time at the workplace. And stories were phenomenal. Like, one such story, very sweet story. One of my friends at work, a very senior lawyer at Shell, she said, Mandar, my daughter, at that time she must be 4 5 year old, she puts her Barbie doll to sleep using my guided meditation uh, CD that I had given her at that time. So, when you bring certain things at the workplace, your intention is good, the benefits percolate even to personal life. And so at that time, Pujita ji, if you remember, like all these discussions that we have now in leadership development of self awareness, self mastery, authentic leadership, like none of this existed when we started this program at Shell. So, you allow the whole self to come to the workplace, where you are encouraging people to bring their passion also to the workplace. And that requires you to be a more mindful leader. So that
So
was my
my
experience doing this at Shell 10 years ago. And if I can do it at Shell, you can do it absolutely in any workplace.
Sure.
Absolutely any workplace.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.